Right, it's recording now.
Yeah, g'day, how's it going? So, one thing that we think about a lot is that we just want to be careful the amount of like the additives and that sort of thing that we're eating. So, we're going to show you how to make pastrami, and yeah, this one here doesn't have any of the sulfates and all that sort of stuff in it. Oh, sorry, the nitrates and so on and so forth. But so I've got a leg of a calf that was going to be thrown in an offal hole. So we rescued it and we are eating it because that's what we do. We like to use all the meat that we can. We hate like all the wastage and that. So first off, to show you how to bone out this leg. If you were doing it at home, you'd probably use like a shoulder roast or some other sort of a roast that already has the bone out of it, but I'll show you how to do this. So yeah, so you need a knife that's sharp, that that has a bit of a point on it. So yeah, yeah, you have your leg so that the hip here is towards you, and then you you sort of have a look up here, and you want to be able to feel the main bone, and that's where you take your first cut. So you cut along that bone. This knife actually isn't sharp. Yeah, so you just sort of cut the meat away from that large bone. Then you come along around here, around the hip. And you cut as close around all the bones as you can so you don't waste any meat. Alright. So you come along here as well. It's relatively simple. You just have to cut away all the meat off the bone. So yeah. Once you're up to about that, then you come across here and you cut it off here. So when you're doing this, you use the weight of the meat actually to pull itself off. You come along there like that. Right, simple as that.
Sadie waits for that bone.
Alright.
Right, it's recording now.
Yeah, g'day, how's it going? So, one thing that we think about a lot. Get rid of that. And that. Right, now we have to make the brine. So what I've got here, I've got salt and sugar. So you use about 3 times the amount of salt that you do in your sugar. The sugar's there to help to kill like the bacteria and stuff, and it's also there for flavour. Pretty much the same thing like with the salt as well. So you just huff your salt and your sugar in. What you could do is you could leave this to sit without the water in it for like a day or so, but I'm not going to do that. So this here's the flavourings. Ideally you just use like a pickling spice, but we don't have any. So we've got chili powder, Tuscan seasoning, pepper, garlic powder, cumin seeds. Yeah, and I think that's about it. There's heaps of stuff that you can put in this. Just throw in anything that you like the flavour of that actually works. But yeah, right, so throw that in. Also it helps if you give your meat a bit of a stab as well. Just sort of get in there. I like to throw a bit of cinnamon in it. Throw a bit of that. I would normally put a couple of cloves in as well, but I can't find them, and that's fine.
Start from the water.
Right, so I'm going to throw the water in there now. So if you use the cleanest water that you can. So you just essentially, all you want to do is you want to cover it. Then you give it a bit of a mix up. I probably should have mixed it in a what do you call it, a separate container, but I didn't. Right, that'll do. Something I like to do is I like to put a couple of oranges in there. Just squeeze out all the juice. Fire them in there. I mainly thought of the oranges because I've got the cinnamon in there and it sort of gives it a bit of a Christmassy sort of a feel. Since we're coming up on that time. Throw that in there. And yeah, so that's essentially the bulk of how you make it. So so we'll leave that in the fridge for about 3 or 4 days, and then yeah, we'll see you back then, and I'll show you how to cook it. All right, we'll see you later.